Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Part of the Pride and Aston Villa Women podcast. I was going to say we can't wait to talk to you about the match. We probably could. Wait a while. But we are here every week to talk the good, the bad, the ugly, the frustrating. And here's another week of defeats. But of course, I can't ever do this by myself. I've brought some friends along with me. So Emily, how are you? Lovely to see you.
Not too bad, thank you. You?
Good. Yeah, good, thank you. Emma, how's you and your Wi-Fi?
Smashing.
I think smashing is the perfect verb for the Wi-Fi. And making her pod debut, Nick, welcome to the show. How are you?
I might rescind the invitation after today, but okay. We'll see how I go.
No, we've been wanting you to come on for a very long time because you have some very strong opinions.
I do.
And in fact, I should have brought some popcorn, and I haven't, and I'm quite offended in myself then. But we shall see. Now, thank you to everyone who's watching and listening as well. We will have a Gary at some point. He's currently waiting on his noodles, so we'll see if Gary shows up as well. So what I thought we could start with, we all give a bit of a first initial reaction, didn't we, to the weekend? So I thought we'd revisit them, see if we've changed slightly, if we've calmed down, maybe in Nick's case, and see, and we'll go into it that way if that sounds good to everyone else. So, the first one up, Emily, we had you. Now, if you didn't see this is as an article on the whole 115 yards, collated by moi. And Emily, you said, if you don't mind me reading aloud what you said, we struggle to understand the change in formation when one of our strengths has been possession and time on the ball. It led to several players not in their usual position and being able to play to their strengths. Huge gaps on the pitch, which Liverpool easily exploited. Much improved second half, reverting to a back four, better shape, more physicality in midfield. It allowed the wingers to get into the game, but then they were both subbed off. I'm not sold on playing Rach as a 10 behind Gabby. Think if we'd set up to start like we did the second half, we wouldn't have found ourselves once again chasing the game. Still pretty much solid.
That's still pretty much my view. I did watch the game back on Monday. And it happens most weeks where when I watch it back the next day, I'm like, it wasn't as bad as it felt when I was watching in person. I suppose it's because you can see more of what they're trying to do. Whereas when you're sort of pitch side, it's just the frustration part when nothing's happening. But I do stand by everything that I thought the other day.
Yeah, because again, I was watching it back and that first half just... Emma, I'm going to be yours out now because it just gave it away perfectly. The first half was really sloppy, giving away possession far too easily. Second half, changed formation, really came out with drive and unlucky not to get anything. Emma, how was it for you? Because again, it was that first half awful.
Yeah, it was the first half. It was really frustrating because we just kept giving Liverpool the ball back, and it was like, well, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Like, we're literally just handing it to them on a plate at this point. It was so sloppy, really sloppy passing. Yeah, but the second half, if we played the full 90 like we played that second half, we could have easily got the 3 points. That's the really annoying thing.
You know what the even more annoying thing is? How many times this season have we said that already?
Every game.
And it's frustrating though, isn't it? Because Nick, I know that you had some thoughts about the formation and the starting 11 when it was given out. Is it not a good thing Robert's trying new things?
I mean, it would be a good thing if he tried things that were sensible, but putting every winger that you own on the pitch and then ending the game with one winger, there's no sense in it. It's almost like he just threw names at the pitch and said that'll do. There was no logic at all in that formation.
Yeah, like I've got 11 spots, right? Who am I gonna pick there? Because the lineup came out, didn't we? We were like, oh, that's quite attacking. That's, everyone that we didn't expect to be on.
My eyes jumped to all the attacking players, and it took me like a good 5 minutes to realise that Noel Moritz was on the bench. And then I was like, wait, so who are we playing instead? Oh, we're not. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
That's an empty space. Yeah.
The thing is, and then you look at the wingers or the attacking players, and you're like, well, which of those is he going to play as wing backs then? Because none of them regularly play that role.
No. Because I was looking on, so Emma Sanders, who always does a lovely match report. I was reading hers, and in the first sentence, she says, their defeat by Liverpool was described as terrible by manager Robert DePau after a lifeless first half. And you're just like, that's awful. That reporting should not be able to happen because of the performance. But yeah, there was the moment where she said he was trying out a 3-5-2 formation. However, according to Google, it was still a 3-4-3. So when we were looking at it, because were you all there at the weekend? Was it just me, Skyvin?
I think so, yeah.
So Nick, kind of when everyone kind of came out and you saw that formation, apart from what is happening, did you think there was a possibility it might work, or was it just wrong from kind of the off?
I think I thought it was a very big gamble. I think if we played other tactics as well as the formation, like we played long balls, we did long passes, then maybe, like Liverpool did. Liverpool played long balls.
Yeah. But
we were still working from behind, working from the back, and you can't work from the back when there's no one at the back. It's just, I mean, no, it couldn't have worked.
Honestly, but that noise though, that completely sums it up. Just like that, like what is it? Because we're so used to having a four at the back and it working so well, and our defense being so strong. Emma, what was kind of your thoughts when suddenly you looked and you were like, oh, there's three. Where's everyone else?
Well, like Emily, it took me a good few minutes to actually realise that Noel Moritz was not, but you know. But I was like, you know what? Okay, we're changing it up. Let's think positive. Maybe it'll work. And then we got into the match, and I was like, maybe it won't.
And then the whistle blew, and then and then it all went wrong. Yeah, because essentially, like Emily, like you were saying, people were then playing out of position, and Dre and Kirsty were on the same wing, and Katie Robinson was. I can't even remember now.
Katie Robinson was left back, wing back, forward, midfield. She was just.
Whereas
I would like to know how many miles that girl covered in that match.
Yeah. Like you were just saying about them trying to play out from the back. When I watched it back, it was so. They like to do triangles, obviously, but the other matches when I've watched them back, it's really noticeable. You've got like Lucy Parker, Noel Moritz, and Jordan Nobbs. They play that triangle and then they move the ball up. And when I watched it back on Monday, you could see Lucy Parker, she played it to Jordan, and then they were like, oh, so it went back to Lucy, and then then you're stuck then, because Liverpool did have a really good press, but because we were trying to do that, it enabled them to play that way.
Yeah, and it just left these massive gaps, and it was like, I think DePau said in his post match, didn't he? Everyone looked confused on the ball, and yeah, like they didn't know what was going to come next, because like you said, they were so used to, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to pass over the pitch, and then
it does beg the question of they must have trained with that setup in the week. One would hope. So
could you imagine?
What I mean is, I don't understand why he comes out and says that, because he's picked that formation and those tactics. So if I don't know. If it's not working, then quite a lot of that rests with him, surely.
100% on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I would have liked to see him take quite more responsibility in that post-match.
Has he ever?
Interview we gave.
Here she is. That's why we brought her on.
Well, he said, you know,
That's on me.
Like we all said, it's a match of two halves, but that was entirely down to him making, you know, the entire formation changing between the two halves, and that was entirely with him. So I don't.
Yeah, because he said the first half we didn't show up. That's terrible to see as a coach, as you feel you did everything in the week to prepare. So to answer that, then clearly they did. It is something that they worked on. The first half we looked a little stressed, insecure on the ball, and not exact in passing. Bit like Liverpool were opportunistic. If you don't do your job and track back, then you can see 2 goals. Okay, Ramsey. Then you have to take risks. In the second half, the players look like we can go all or nothing. Then suddenly we start to play football like we normally train.
Because we went back to your normal setup.
But then I'd take the wingers off and it all goes to...
Yeah, why did he... Let's have a chat about this. And in fact, we've heard a pigeon, which means we've got a Gary. Hello,
Hey.
mate. He made it. How are you?
Tired, but not bad. I'll live.
How's your Chinese?
Early digested.
I love it. No, Gary, we were just saying with the change in formation in that first half, it just felt like maybe names out of a hat. Because we were talking about international minutes. And actually, Emily, I think we were talking about it as well. Kind of who can you afford to rest if they have been playing? So, Gary, kind of for you, when that formation and that starting 11 came out, what were your initial thoughts on it?
I was confused.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you're looking at it and it's like, okay, 3 centre backs against Liverpool.
And that's
Well,
the thing, yeah, against
But
Liverpool.
why are we giving them all that space on the wings? Yeah, it's not like we were expected to be the attacking team against Liverpool. But the second half, we actually were. The first half, I have no idea what on earth was going through his head.
And yeah, because Gary, we were just sharing our kind of initial thoughts that we published. And he said it was a missed opportunity. And again, that comes into this whole game of 2 halves that everyone was like, okay, well, we don't know what happened for those first 45 minutes. Let's concentrate on this second half and actually get something from it. But I liked what you said, Gary, though. We've got the squad. We just need them to wake up sooner than half time. So who can I ask this question to? Nick, I'll come back to you. Do you think, no, it's an all right one, I promise. Okay. Do you think if they've been set up like that on the pitch, and it's clearly not working, and we've got some intelligent players there, haven't we? Do you think it could be up to one of them to be like, look, we need to change it a bit, we need to do something, or even shout to Rob, like, we need to do something? Or do you purely have to just play for the manager at this point? And I say this as Nick is frozen. And Emma, we thought it was going to be you. So we'll see if Nick comes back and joins us, and that the gremlins haven't got her in the attic. So there she is. She's off. In fact, is she back?
I am.
Oh, she's...
I am.
Oh,
that wasn't the question. It just decided to like disconnect. I think it's.
I was going to say, did you hear the question?
No.
Oh. You know what? It's the best question I've ever asked. So quite offended. No, no, I was just saying we've got some really intelligent players on the pitch. So they would have known after 10 minutes that it wasn't working. So do you think the players have then maybe got a chance to change it themselves? Maybe shout to Robert, like, look, it's not working. Can we do something? Or is that purely his decision to make, do you think? How much can they push it?
I don't think at the minute they get much of a say. Like, from watching the kind of interaction with them when there was water breaks and stuff, and like the goalkeepers went down or whatever, they weren't talking to Robert. They were talking to other Mr. Tactical Man that stands next to Robert. Like, I don't feel like there's a good relationship there. And I think the more he doesn't take responsibility in post-match, and the more he stands at the sideline with his hand in his head in his hands, I think that relationship is going to get weaker and weaker, and I don't think they get a say. I don't sense a good relationship at all.
That's an interesting take. Because Emma, what do you think? Because with pre-season and the few games that we've had, we've heard him shouting, haven't we? And it's been very kind of instruction based and very. So, do you think it is that tighter grip that maybe isn't gelling at the minute, or what kind of have you thought about it?
Really, because like he does like communicate with the players, but then, as Nick just said, they also, when they come over, really talk to him. But throughout the match, you can hear him communicating with the players and trying to, and then they do. So it's not like a Mark Skinner situation where they're not responding. Like,
thank God.
So I don't know. I think it's a bit of both. Like, I think Robert does have like that final say, obviously, but like it's have to go from what he says, and there is a bit of wiggle room. But yeah,
There's not much wiggle room. This is an iota.
Is that from Commentary Corner?
It's their own entry for commentary.
That's why you're employed me.
That's why I employed you. I'm not paying you for this. What's going on? I'll pay you in love. How about that? That'll do. But yeah, it was just bizarre. So with saying about him taking more responsibility and all of this, could we then see that halftime triple substitution as him then coming forward and take responsibility for that? Gary, do you think that was actually a good thing that he went, okay, this can't continue. We need to shift?
He had to do something. And the changes that he made were actually quite positive. You know, as much as everybody loves Knobs and everybody else, you know, they were a bit lost. We needed a wee bit of bite in there. And to be fair, whenever you're wanting to add a bit of bite, Stanley Ford and Mary aren't exactly the bad combo to put on there. You know, so watching them coming on and fighting a bit harder and then mailing on the right, you know, it brought a bit more balance to the defence. Yes. You know, the three at the back just wasn't working because the people that are being asked to play fullback or wingback aren't wingbacks. You know, Kirsty Hansen, Leon, they're right now attackers. They're usually our most sort of attacking threat. And I think also the way you had Gabby on the pitch, if you're going to play three centre backs and Gabby, and as much as she's the opposite end of the pitch, she doesn't track back. Once she misses a tackle, she doesn't get up and try again. She just claps her hands and walks away. Whereas you see somebody like Rach, you'd find Rach in our 6-yard box more than you did in Liverpool's 6-yard box, you know?
Yeah.
It's just...
Whether that's a positive or a negative.
Well, Rach does play for the team, but yeah, you kind of want somebody that's going to sit up there and actually try and put the ball into the net.
Would help, wouldn't it? Would help.
Yeah, it would help, especially the way the season's been going so far. The substitutions were the right substitutes. We've seen that. The second half was a completely different half. Then again, it's been the same way the previous 5 games.
And it's almost like you want to say to him, like, switch, just completely switch, right? Your second half, whatever you're planning, do that first. But keep it, sustain it. Don't then take everyone off. Like that's what we want to see. Because against Liverpool, we know how physical they are. We know how attacking they are. So why not put on those players? Because we're assuming Noelle maybe needed to be rested because she played a lot, didn't she, over the international break? But we were saying like Patsy, we couldn't lose her. Thankfully, you know, she was on. But it was just every bit of space that they just exploited. I mean, Liverpool were, to their credit, were playing some lovely football, weren't they? But unfortunately, we were letting them play some lovely football. But yeah, just Katie Robinson, unfortunately, she wasn't tracking back. Like you said, Gabby wasn't tracking back. Do we think, Nick, because we haven't really talked about Gabby, have we? What's your first impressions about kind of Gabby, how she is, how she's adjusting, and possibly her potential? Because we're not seeing the best of her at the moment, are we?
I think as a striker in the box, ready in the right position, she's got fantastic potential.
Yeah.
She needs to toughen up. She spends far too much time on the floor.
Yes.
That's my analysis. So much potential, but she's knocked over far too easily, stays down for too long, needs to realise she's not won the foul, get up now.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Because you're absolutely right. Because people are saying, "Oh, Gabby Nunes 2-2," like the striker this ever, and it's like, yeah, but if we look at the whole picture, because that makes her sound phenomenal, doesn't it? As a striker coming in, but we said, again in the Man City game when she took her own shoe off, spent about half an hour on the floor. Like you don't need to do it. Like, you haven't won the foul, like you said, move on. It's okay, because then you're essentially a player down, literally, because on the floor. Literally play it out. And we need everyone together, don't we, on the same wavelength. So yeah, I think once they sort out what the whole Rach Gabby situation is going to be, because yeah, Emily, you're not convinced, are you yet?
I just don't get. Again, it's obviously Rach is an amazing footballer and is capable of playing anywhere on the pitch. Like we've seen, obviously she is excellent at left back, excellent up front. But when she's obviously her main role within our team is as a striker, as a number 9. The way they've set up, they're not playing 2 up top. She's behind Nunes, trying to be like that playmaker.
Yeah.
But she's obviously, because of the way she plays, she gets involved in everything. And when we've got, like, I know that she obviously played a lot of international minutes over the break, but when you've got a natural playmaker in like Kenza Dali on the bench, I don't know why you wouldn't, again, play your best players in their best roles. Like, because you could start Rach and Kenza and then bring Rach off and sub Gabby on to play the last 20-30 minutes. Like I presumed before the season that's what we were going to see, rather than them both starting. And I don't think it's leaving that gap again, because we're playing sort of with 2 just in front of the centre backs. There's just a big gap between that and then Rach, who's playing quite high up but still just behind Gabby. I think we're losing it in midfield far too easily.
Yeah, because even at the weekend, I remember looking for most of the match. I was like, right, Jordan's up here, and then Missy Ball's up there, and then there was this huge space, wasn't there? And you just think, anyone's going to take advantage of that. Of course, Liverpool are going to do it. But yeah, Taylor Hines. If anyone captained her this weekend, well done for you.
I did have her in my team.
You did or didn't?
I did, she saved my week, to be honest, which was a vague silver lining to the whole match.
Yeah, I was drowning. My week was awful. Well, I did captain Buddy Shaw, so she saved me. And then you look at the highest being 93, and you're like, come on, like how? And then you realise they've got the wall on, and you're like, right, okay. But yeah, awful. It makes you doubt everything you ever knew about football, getting this game and playing these people. But we touched there on the triple substitution. So, of course, everyone watching this watched the match. But it was Mary Taylor, Lucy Staniforth, and Sarah Malin coming on. Can we give Sarah Malin a shout out, though? Because that was such a good performance from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save the day, so.
Exactly, yeah, because there was a bit of a dip, wasn't there, towards maybe end of last season, early this season, and we thought, is she going to get the game time with people coming in? So do we think, Gary, do you think Sarah Malin should be more of a shout for that starting position, or is she better now as more of an impact sub when we need her?
I think Sarah deserves a shot. I know obviously Noel and Thomas have been playing really well. And Tomas is she's much more attacking on the left. And I'm glad that we're going to have her back next week, because I'd like to see her back in the starting lineup. But I'd like to see Sarah get a shot at right back. You know, she was keeping the well out of the team last season for a large part of it. And after that performance, you know, she does deserve, because we need that balance and we need the support for our wingers. A lot of the time, they don't have the support. You know, even as well as Turner played at left back these last few games, she wasn't there for a winger because she's not attack minded at all. Absolutely solid in defence, but no support moving forward. And I think that's what Robert's been trying to do, bring in players that could offer support in more roles. But we do have players that can offer that support still. You know, to be honest, I still don't think our strongest 11 is much different than what it was last season. You know, it's nice to have a squad, but our strongest 11, I'd probably put Mary into it a wee bit more often, and I'd be starting Kenza instead of her sitting on the bench. As Emily said, probably wouldn't have Nunes starting, but there's a little bit of me that's wondering, because they spent so much money on her, and then Rach is kind of the star player, is pressure being put on him, the player? You know, in the hope she'll do well, she'll score goals, they'll sell shirts. You know, like most clubs generally do, they'll invest in a player, hoping that they're going to get it back through performances and sales, basically, on merchandise. So there could be a wee bit of pressure on them to play them both. Yeah, and you're not going to drop Rach. She's their captain. But she's not a number 10. She is a 9. So she has a natural instinct for actually scoring goals, not creating them.
I think there's like an element as well of him wanting to play the players that he's brought in.
Yeah.
Which is becoming more apparent the longer we get into the season, I think.
Although he finally stopped starting Grant, which was a surprise.
Yeah, but again, you wonder, is that to do with international minutes? Is it to do with managing it? Would he have started her if he could? But I was just happy Dree was in that starting 11, because, you know, if anyone's been working for it and actually coming back for it, then it's good side.
Yeah, going back to talking about Sarah Mayling, that was like, she played really well, and I think part of it was that familiarity with playing, because she was involved obviously in the goal, but there was so much play up that right hand side, like linking up with Lucy Staniforth and Leon. I think it's like we said, like Gary just said, they've got that familiarity of playing last year. That was pretty much our starting right hand side. So it's like, I thought that was really obvious when they came on, how well they were linking up.
Yeah, because then suddenly you're like, oh, as if they've played football together forever. Like, they're actually using their connections and making it work. Yeah. Has anyone got any thoughts on what their strongest starting 11 would be? Has anyone thought about it? Kind of super subs. I'll tell you what, I'll let you all have a think, then I'll come back at the end and see if anyone's got a starting 11.
I definitely already had a thought about it.
Hey, Gary, you go if you've got something.
To me, Sabs is our number 1 keeper. I love her. I think the way she controls her box and everything, would be missing that. As good as a shot stopper Daphne was last season, well, I'm elite. We all love her too. It'll be nice to see her back from injury and pushing Sabs. You know, I think that's important. For me, it's Tomas at left back, Sarah at right back, and it has to be Parker. And I'm having a brain fart. Yes, Patton. Sorry. At centre back, those two have been immense so far this season.
Yeah, no.
But I think it's good. It's still Kirsty left, Leon right, and Kenza behind. Probably Rach to start with, anyway. And then I would probably have Mary and Staniforth in the the sort of the two central roles.
Yeah.
That would be my starting 11. And then you know, Katie's a good backup. Grant's a good backup. Kieran's Missy Bo, you know, she's a good backup, but I just don't see them as being the players that go out and attack games and win games. But they have been the players that have been holding possession and closing teams out. So I think that's where he's doing it the wrong way round. But we've seen that quite early in the season, and he's just not getting the grasp with it at all.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because again, it's what we've played 6 games. So again, the season's not over. We're not even halfway through. But you just think by now, surely if we can all see it and we're not, you know, trained to that high level to kind of analyze as much as we're wonderful, of course. But you'd think, okay, well, surely other people are seeing it as well. And something's got to happen. Something's got to switch. Yeah, because when you need physicality, because I don't know if there was a bit of maybe nostalgia there for starting Missy Bo against Liverpool. Because I know we all kind of joked last week about, Missy Bo hat trick would be perfect against a World club. But yeah, there just didn't seem to be that strength in it, did they? Muscled off the ball quite a lot. But then, of course, Miri comes on and gets a yellow card, and that's exactly what we want.
Yeah,
from a strong midfield.
I have to say I'm pretty much exactly the same as Gary for that starting 11. I'd go Kenza, Jordan, and Lucy midfield probably, but
yeah.
But yeah, and I also agree with what you're saying. Like we've shown in the first 6 games that, well, aside from Sunday, that we can hold the ball up and pass it around between us. But it's like you said, Gary, we have those players on at the end of the game to do that when we're hopefully already winning 2-0.
Yeah.
Rather than playing that way and then just panicking at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we seem to, again, play at our best under pressure. So why don't we have that pressure from the start? And play like we mean it. Like play like Chelsea play. Soon as they're on, right, need a goal. We need another one. Like just keep going. Hannah's in the chat. She says, Katie says, has everyone forgot about Maz? No, we haven't forgotten about her, Katie. Do not worry. So let's have a chat about Maz then, shall we? She has been missing, of course, hasn't started, hasn't had any minutes either, has she? Of course, got called up for the Philippines, couldn't play, which we know from Snapchat was because she doesn't have a Filipino passport yet. Thank you, Emma, for that one. Being down with the kids. And but there were also rumblings that maybe she's focused maybe more on international football, but I can't see her not wanting to play domestically and playing for clubs. So, Emma, what do you think about this? Kind of what, I don't know, what are we missing not having Maz with us? Would you like to see her play more?
Yeah, because Maz is, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. She's almost like the Lucy Bronze for us, because she's always running down to the front, like mentality as well, which I feel like we're really missing. So, yeah, I'd love to see her on the pitch, just pure, like, to go down to the front and try and also track back and defend. Work is just amazing. Like, the way she is with the ball at her feet. Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Waxing lyrical about Maz. But no, yeah, she is a presence that we're missing. Nick, you look really unimpressed there. Your thoughts?
I miss Maz. I do miss Maz. I think everyone knows how I feel about our lack of set piece takers.
For those who don't, please enlighten us.
But Robert is allergic to playing people that are natural set piece takers. Every single match. Allergic.
Every time we get a corner, like I look over at you and we're like,
who's going to take it? Like we've got Rob's taking corners, but like just what?
just stick to it.
Just any set piece taken player starting 11 would make me happy. Mailing Maz,
Kenza.
Yeah,
Kenza, Staniforth, just any of them.
be nice.
Just one. Just how many set pieces have we had a chance with and flumped because we've not had a strong set piece taker, or we've had a striker taken away from being on goal to take a set piece.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? We did have 6 corners at the weekend. 6.
Did we?
And
Oh my goodness.
exactly. Yeah, did we? Exactly. Yes, we did. We had 6 compared to Liverpool's 2. And again, shots. No, stats. Hey. In comparison, so we had 8 shots, which awful. 4 were on target, 2 were off target, compared to Liverpool's 11 shots, 5 on target, 4 off target. But we had more possession. So again, I don't know how we managed to get more possession, but
I think second half was pretty much all us. I think after the second set of substitutions, we again lost our shape a little bit, and Liverpool had a good spell. But like it was all us second half.
We had 21 total touches in the opposition box. There we go. Compared to Liverpool's 13. So again, it's why aren't we getting more from this? But then, of course, we've talked about the 3 substitutes coming on. We then had 2 of our most creative players taken off at the same time. Emily, Nick, I know you've both got thoughts about this. So Nick, we'll come to you first. Do you think, again, it was managing minutes? Because it couldn't have been anything else, surely.
I mean,
That's a good thought.
Dree was limping. So half maybe agree with taking her off because she did look like she was uncomfortable when she came off. But I can't give a logical explanation for taking Anson off.
No.
There is none. The game worked for about 20 minutes when Leon and Hansen were on opposite wings.
Yeah.
And that is the only 20 minutes of the game it worked. And then it just all went like, let's just play one winger. Just Grant can just do all the winging all by herself.
Just going around in circles. I'm here. No, over here. Look. Distraction technique. Yeah. Where's Cassidy now?
When we saw them warming up, and we were like, "Oh, he's going to make a substitution soon," and we were like, "Oh, which one's it going to be?" Because we could see Grant warming up, and we were like, "Oh, it'll be one of them." And then I thought, "Oh, we'll take Gabby off, put Rachel higher, and play Kenza in mid." No. And then so Leon's number came up, and you're like, "Okay, she's coming off, right?" And then 20 came up on the board, and I was like, "What?"
Is the 4th official drunk? Like, what's happening?
The thing is, I think. Hang on, let me find my notes. I made a note about this. I don't know where.
Nick's like, this isn't professional. Why someone got notes? What's going on?
When did we make that substitution? 80-something minutes? Yeah. I made it when I was watching it back because I think the Liverpool goalkeeper had gone down maybe just before. There was some sort of pause in the game.
Sounds about right.
And then we made a substitution, but it didn't look like
82nd.
It didn't look like either of them had any prior inclination that they might be coming off. Do you know, because Kirsty came over and got a drink and then went back up, like as if, if she's about to come off, I don't know why.
Yeah, you'd stay there.
Yeah, you just.
And then the others were having their own sort of group huddle on the far side, which Dree was involved in. They were having like a tactics discussion whilst the keeper was on. So to me, it felt like
they probably saw
they
were
going to be carrying on playing when the whistle started to restart the game.
Yeah, and not. Yeah, that's. Yeah, now you've said it. Actually, I remember going, but why? What is happening? Yeah, because I mean, Chastity's quick. She's good. She's attacking, but it just felt flat, didn't it? After those 2 went off.
And Kenza tends to sort of, obviously she's great at running with the ball, but she tends to come back inside, whereas Kirsty obviously takes on the player and runs like right to the touchline.
Yes.
And then it just narrows it all again.
Yeah,
and especially because she had Dan playing behind her. And like we've said, Dan's not as attacking minded. So when you've got Dan not pushing as high up and Kenza cutting in, you've just got that loads of space happening again.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it just felt like exactly what Nick said. Oh, we had such a good 20 minutes. He thought, right, we can get an equalizer here. But then as soon as that change happened and it fell flat again, we were just like, oh, God, here we go. hanging on for the last 10, 15 minutes, however long it was. Because Rachel Laws, again, I had her in my fantasy team. Sorry, Bella. What does that say? No, I'll tell you what. It was a lesser of two evils because my two keepers were Laws and Brosnan. So I kind of had to put Rachel in goal. Poor Courtney Brosnan against Chelsea. But she did have to make that really good save, didn't she, in the dying moments to deny that equaliser. But Liverpool hung on, got the win. And overall, unfortunately, I think we kind of have to say they deserved it for consistency. I will have to say, though, Matt Beard, did anyone see his post-match? Because he said that they pinpointed Villa's weakness because he realised there was no sign of Robinson tracking back or keeping tabs on Hines for both Liverpool goals. He said they build with a back three and they always tend to do it down one side. It made it a little easier to stop them playing like they like to switch it out, but we pinned them in. Second half, they built with a two-player defence and pushed the full-backs, so we had to adapt to it. You look at both goals, both of our centre-backs got off the shoulders of their front two, and their midfielders couldn't cover the ground. It was something we worked on to exploit during the week. Matt Beard knew. Did Robert tell him, right, this is I'm gonna do this? But yeah, I mean, if teams know that that's exactly what we're going to do, of course we're going to get found out. Of course it's going to go horribly wrong. It's a bit like when we talk about the Lionesses. Everyone knows what we're going to do now. There's no switch up. There's no change. And unfortunately for us, the first half there was a switch up, and it went horribly wrong. So, any other thoughts or discussions anyone wanted to do? Because, yeah,
I was
just disappointing, frustrating.
I'm hoping, like you were just saying about switching it up and it not working. I'm hoping, really, really, really hoping that he doesn't try it again on Sunday. That will be.
We can't. No.
That will be if he does, mind-boggling. If he does that,
it's like we are traveling to Manchester on a Sunday night. Please don't do a 3-5-2. It doesn't work. Leave it on.
I want a defensive lineup on this weekend. I think we need to be realistic about the fact that we're not going to get 3 points out of this game. We need to get a point. We need to get a clean sheet and defend.
And that is going to bring me nicely.
But we're not getting 3 points against them. It's not happening.
No. Would you like a fun fact about us versus Manchester United?
Go for it.
I feel like because Sophie's not on the pod this week, I have to be stats corner. We have never won against United in the WSL.
Well, there we go.
Apart from one time, but it was in the League Cup and it was on penalties. Do you remember that at Bescott?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I was actually there for that one. One time. But in the last 3 meetings against United, we have started to score. Before that, nothing. Nothing at all. 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, nothing. The last couple have been like 2-1, 3-2. So really, we're working our way up, and I think a point can be done.
I'd be happy with 0 now.
Put a point. But like you said, Nick, that's what we've got to focus on, because it's not likely we're going to get the 3 points. So let's talk about it then. We are away to Manchester United on Sunday. A lovely kickoff time of 6:45 because it's on Sky Sports. So if we think about how Manchester United are playing at the minute, Gary, how United are playing actually, they're not playing that great, are they? So
They're not, but they're grinding out wins.
Wins and points, like they're being consistent, aren't they, in getting them?
They're doing it.
But you know what? You said that we haven't beat them before. First time for everything, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
But I'm not going to the Old Trafford afraid. The last couple of games that we played against them, they have been like 2-1 and so on. And like even last season, whenever we went to Manchester, I'm pretty sure we were 1-0 up until like the 80th something minute, and they got their 2 goals in the last 10 minutes because we just switched off for some reason.
That sounds right.
So they're beatable. And I believe we're good enough to beat them if we go out with the right bloody team.
Yeah, if we set up properly, absolutely. Oh, my dog's going to join me. Hello.
But the last thing I want to do is drive back down the road from Manchester, losing.
That'd be the worst drive ever, wouldn't it?
They're lovely fans, Yeah, that would be grim. Having to listen to them for 90 minutes and then drive down the road. So no, I'm going in positive. I reckon we can beat them.
Say hello. Say hello.
Yeah. Fred, don't. I'm going to steal him on you.
He meerkats. And he just went, hello. But wait, go. No, we don't eat the plants, do we? No. We're not going to eat a leaf. Although we did spit it out, so clearly it didn't taste very nice. Oi. Hang on, right. You talk amongst yourselves. Every 2 seconds.
Would on the subject of Paula Tomas, because she's available again, Gary, you said that you'd put her straight back into the starting lineup. I think I probably would, but it's just I don't think Dan Turner's hasn't done anything that warrants being dropped.
I agree, but I think we need to have the balance and the support. If we have the right wingers on, Tomas will back up the winger. Turner doesn't.
Would you play?
It's that. To me, it's more about the balance of the team than Turner has a bit of foot wrong. I can't fault her for defensive duties, but
I think I'd maybe still play her on Sunday because of trying to, like you said, Nick, ground out something.
To me, Liverpool took advantage of us when we were unbalanced. And they will want to go in against United unbalanced because they'll do the same if we don't go in with the right starting 11.
Yeah.
And I think Tomas adds to the balance of the team. The Turner has a bit of foot wrong, I agree with you, but I just think for having Kirsty running up the wing and somebody that's going to back her up that can put the ball into the box, I would like to see somebody that is going to be there and give the support. I know it's not going to be Maz, so I think Robert will put his own, like Nick said, he likes to play his own players. So I think that's why Tomas will probably go straight back into the starting team.
I can see it happening,
yeah. I got the leaf. Thank you, everyone. But yeah, no, you're right. So was that Paolo? We think it's going to come straight back in. Yeah, I reckon so. And she's good, and like you said, she's so attacking, and she's such a presence on the right hand side. And you just think compared to, well, if you look at the system that Skinner's playing, that's a bit disjointed and a bit kind of all over the place, and he's got world class strikers on the bench and all this. So as long as we don't get into any fights. Because did we all see how dangerous the dugouts are at Lee Sports Village?
Yes.
Quite a drop.
I did have to laugh though. All the United fans been like, well, it's always been like that. But that doesn't make it safe. That's not okay. Saying we know it's dangerous is not a defense.
Just On that topic, I meant to look it up and I didn't. Lucy Stan got another yellow card. I'm not sure how many she's on.
Two?
Is that it?
It's two,
I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like she's had a few.
I thought you said who instead of two, and I was like,
Who?
I'm offended.
Google it.
Yes, two.
Is that it?
No.
Okay. I take back my point.
She has 2 in 5 matches.
I'll take that.
She had 2 out of 13 in the 22-23 season.
I feel like she's going to. Yeah, but she was injured for half of it, so.
That's a very good point as well. So really, when you take it out of as a proportion,
she's gonna get.
She's phenomenal, isn't she? I can see Miri totaling up some good cards. I can see a ban coming. So she just calm her feet. But I love that even though she was on a yellow, she still went barreling in, didn't she, with her head?
There was that sort of karate move with like Miri and 3 Liverpool players. I don't really know what happened.
Yeah. And it just kind of went. I remember watching her going, "What are you doing? Like, take a step back. Let's go." Yeah. But we need the strand to it. Nick, did you say you hate it?
I said we need it.
Oh, right. That's so much better. I was like,
No. We need it. I love the gritty players.
That goes against everything you've ever said.
No. No. I like the ones that can stand up for themselves.
Yeah. And yeah, we need more of
the reason I miss mailing. Like,
yeah,
all of our defenders are quite slight. Whereas mailing, she needs to.
Goes for it. Yeah.
She can get her aggression out.
That's exactly what we want. Slyly, of course, with that one. Because, of course, we had the whole last time out against United, we had the mileage this year. Should have been a red card and wasn't. So, do we think there's going to be a bit of drama, a bit of chaos this weekend? Emma, what do you think? A bit of chaos?
Yeah, because I've met players that are really dirty, but then obviously don't get done for it and don't get spoken to about it. So if they're not spoken to, and they got away with it last time they played it, why won't they try it again?
And as we know from teaching, if you don't nip it in the bud straight away, it's going to get worse. But yeah, now Chris in the chat. Thank you, Chris. Lovely to have you. I'm going to come back to Chris's question in a moment because I would like some score predictions from everyone for the weekend. So, Gary, I'm going to come to you first. You can choose head or heart. I don't mind if they're wildly different. I think we said about 10-0.
They're the same. I fancy a 2-1 win for Villa.
We always say a 2-1 win for Villa.
I don't. I said 3-1 against Liverpool, and how wrong was I?
Oh, I do apologise. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you got a 2-1 win. Perfect. And to be fair, our last outing, I think, was a 2-1. I probably just made that up, but I saw 2-1.
Rach got that penalty, didn't she?
Yeah, that was it.
That was another game where we looked stronger towards the end. Like, I feel like we could have got something from that.
But can I just add, this week is the first time that we're wearing our white kit this season. That's a good kit to wear to go out and get your first win. And how this week will it be coming away from Manchester with 3 points?
Yeah.
You're so optimistic.
Absolutely.
I think
Nick, we can't all be a negative Nelly.
White float with no sponsor. It looks like we're in our PE kits.
No, it does. It absolutely does. Because they were saying, for people who aren't too sure, they essentially said they're not having the betting sponsor because it doesn't align with the women's values, which is great. But it's now November. No one aligns with their values. I mean, we'll sponsor them if you like. We've got no money, but we'll put our logo on the shirts. That's fine. But the fact we also can't buy them without the sponsor as well is quite annoying. But yeah, it does have a bit of PE kit, giving PE kit. So you haven't bought one then, Nick, this season?
No, I want one without the sponsor on. I want the third shirt without the sponsor, and it's just unless I squeeze into like I keep looking for the youths to see if there's like a 15 to 16 because I could probably manage that. But every time I go in the Villa store, it's like the biggest one they do is like age 11 to 12. I'm like that's pushing it a little bit.
It's got like an arm in. So yeah, that'll do. Yeah, well, the sponsors usually peel off at some point, don't they? So maybe get one put through the wash a few times. Right. Come on. Come off forcefully. Emily, how about you? Got any predictions?
I'm going to go 1-0.
2.
Heart, Villa.
Yeah.
Head. I can just see us. It always happens, especially against United. I can just see us holding on and then just one moment of misjudgment and it going in. I'm going to go 1-0 Villa.
1-0 Villa. Okay. Emma, how about you?
Realistic. 1-0. Optimistic. Dunno.
Is that not the optimistic thing?
Redefine your idea of realistic.
Okay.
But
She doesn't actually know where she is at this point. We're just
the optimistic scoreline is like earlier in the season, like against Chelsea, the amount of chances that we created, at that stage, you kind of thought, you know what, this is going to click one game and we're going to go out and stick about 6 past one team.
Yeah.
That's the optimistic response for this weekend.
Yeah, that could be.
I would love that. I'd love that to be this weekend.
That would be lovely.
How sweet would that be?
Chelsea
3 points will do, but yeah, if that was the click and something magical happened, it'd be worse, Sky Sports changing it and making me having to book Monday off work.
I love that you said the phrase 3 points will do. Yeah. Any points at all. Absolutely. Nick, how about you?
I really, 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 really want him to play the right lineup and it as play to our potential and maybe like a couple of goals each draw. That's like that's just what I want. Yeah. But the decisions he's making at the minute, we're not getting a point. I'm going 3-1 to United.
Oh, 3-1.
I can see.
That's not very optimistic.
I can see him just reverting back to
playing Grant instead of Leon.
And again, I think he'll start Nobbs and Kearns in midfield again.
I'm okay with
I
Nobbs.
don't think he should.
I don't think
Nobbs is fine.
I'm okay with Nobbs.
As long as she's Lucy Stone.
Yeah.
Just against United, we need to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
And we need everyone on that's going to put 2 feet through a tackle. So if we can just clone Miri and just get her in every position, that would be great. Let's do it. Let's get the technology ready for Sunday, and then we can do that. Perfect. I might be optimistic and say 2-2. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. We've got to have hope, haven't we? At this point, now we keep on saying we're playing better than we overall. We're playing better than we were. We've got more points than we did this time last season. However, it's a completely different league this year, isn't it? And the question from Chris, which again, thank you for asking, $1 million question for the panel. How long do we give Robert Power? Performances are getting worse. Crowds are getting smaller. If we lose against Palace, we're in deep trouble. Now, I personally think Palace are doing really well. So I think we can't even say, oh, it's Palace that have come up because they're higher than us. They need to be a team that we are competing with and taking points off. But I don't think a win is guaranteed against anyone in this league, to be honest. So yeah. Has anyone got any thoughts on that one? I'll just put it back up there. Because some people are calling for a sacking already. Nick, but only.
I want him to come after like game 2, to be fair.
Oh yeah, you had no hope straight away. So to balance the argument slightly, Nick will come to you first, and then if anyone else can have a think in the meantime. So yeah, Nick, what do you think?
I think
offense.
I think he massively lets the team down. I think he lets all the players down with his managerial decisions. He doesn't take any responsibility for it. He seems really frustrated with the players. I don't like the atmosphere with him at all. I don't like him. I don't trust him. And I think we can't use the excuse he's new anymore. Palace has got a new manager. Leicester's got a new manager. Brighton's got a new manager. And look how they're all performing. They are outperforming us with new managers. It's not an excuse. We can't say, oh, we'll get there. It's a quarter of the way through the league. And he's not got there.
So he needs to be putting his money where his mouth is. Yeah.
Emily. Yeah, I was along that same vein about, it's on one side it's only, it's only been 6 games, but when it's 6 games out of a 22 game season, you don't have that luxury of time to completely change and get a team playing how he obviously has got in his head he wants them to play, and his style and his whole ethos or whatever. He's trying to implement all of that, and it's obviously going to take time, but we don't have the time to let that happen. We need points, or you're going to find him next year trying to still implement that, but in the Championship.
Yeah.
And I think it's, last year we got our first win against Bristol away in the league. And like you said, Crystal Palace are doing a lot better than Bristol were doing when Bristol came up.
Yeah.
And I also think, I think, I can't remember, somebody posted it in the group about Sonia Bonpastor's comments about...
yeah, Becky said that, didn't she? Yeah.
At some point you've just got to get, if within the game, if the tactics that you started out playing with aren't working, and you need to just resort to a long ball over the top, then do that. If that's what it's going to take to get a shot on goal, to get a chance.
Yeah.
You've got to do that and not be too proud to switch it up and say, look, we need the 3 points more than we need to play pretty football.
Yeah, kind of admit you're wrong, made a mistake, you need to move on.
Yeah, and I worry. I was all for being behind the manager, because I think it's, that's, you've got to try and support the team, the whole team. But the last couple of weeks and the last weekend especially, he's making it tricky for me personally.
And it's hard though, isn't it? Because when we came out against Chelsea and we put that performance in, and we're all like, oh my God, it's a new team, it's a new start, it's a new everything. And then because we did so well, we then went into every game going, oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be such a good performance. And then something then just dropped off. And I don't know if it's because they thought, all right, we've got to really impress against Chelsea. And then maybe that pressure then, I don't know, doesn't translate to other teams who aren't Chelsea, or because we've always performed better against the biggest sides, haven't we?
I think that's my key issue really, is that it's persisting with the same thing, even though it isn't getting us any points.
Yeah.
That's my issue with him at the moment. Which is why, this Sunday I think is going to be sort of probably not for him, because I don't think the club they'll leave it a bit longer, at least till Christmas, I think, for right or for wrong. But I think for my own sort of opinion of him and his tactics and stuff, I think this weekend's probably make or break with the team he puts out and the way we play.
Yeah, because we need to be, considering where we can be in the level, Man United are the ones that we should be trying to attack and trying to take points off and trying to really, really make an impact. Gary, what about you with that question? How long do we give him, or is it not even entered your mind yet?
I really don't know. You know, and with everybody else that'll want to support him.
Yeah.
But he's continuously starting with the wrong teams. You know, he just, other than the Chelsea game where he seemed to have got things perfect, every other match is like, we'll go out, we'll do nothing, we'll do nothing, we'll do nothing. And then the last half an hour, he makes a change because we're under pressure. And all of a sudden, we're snatching at the ball and we're getting the shots, but we're just doing nothing because nobody has the time or the composure. They're just thinking, I can maybe score from here, and taking risks that maybe could have been better controlled had we started with the right team to go out and try and win a match. You know, it's like, to me, it does have to be the right 11. He does have to swallow his pride. And I think a lot of this is down to his own pride. The Dutch are quite a proud nation, you know. Obviously, they created total football with Johan Cruyff and everything else, and it's kind of, they think that like, football is them. That's why he's trying to create this possession play for us. But possession doesn't mean goals. You know, City only beat us 2-1. They had 70% possession. You know, how many matches have we lost and we have had 70% possession? You know, we need to be seeing the ball in the net. And should that be the Gabbies on the bench and Cairns is playing, I would do start with a wee bit more grit in midfield. He just keeps getting the tactics wrong. And I want to support him. I really, really want to support him. But yeah, I don't think you'll see out the season with the fans. The club will probably back him, but the fans will all be bent for his blood if we're not somewhere better by Christmas. I think Christmas last year, we went in the new year with like 12 points on the board. I've looked at our common fixtures and I don't see us sitting with 12 points come Christmas. So as much as we say after 5 games, we have more points. I think by the time we hit sort of 10, 11 games, we're actually going to have less points than what we had last season.
Yeah, because everyone's strengthened as well, haven't they? Emma, what's your thoughts?
I agree with like, I just feel like he's not starting his best 11. Like, yes, he's starting some really weak players that, I don't know what the word is, but they're not fitting into that like environment. Things aren't clicking.
Yeah, connections are quite weak, aren't they?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of communication. Like the start of the season, we were really imaginative. We were really communicating with each other on the pitch, and that all seems to have dropped. Seem to be going into game. Like we need to go into every game as though we're playing Chelsea. Like we need to go in with that mindset. This team could win the league at the end of the day. Like even if they're not going to, we've got to take points off these potential title winners.
Yeah,
because of how the league is now as well. Like now more than we've got to start doing that. But yeah, it's the starting 11. It's just not. It's always playing a sloppy first half. Like we can go into a game every week and know we're going to play a sloppy first half because that's exactly what happens week in, week out. So we need to start those people that we're putting in on the second half. Start them, see what happens, and then if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't click, revert back. You know, we can. But there doesn't seem the frustrating thing. But I really want to back him like everyone else. See the proof that he's trying to strengthen the team.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because he said in one of his press conferences, I think he said, you know, I've never had to wait this long for a win before. So it's clearly not something he's not used to either, which is good in a sense. Because we want
leagues.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because the WSL, who was it? I think it might have been Matt Beard, might have even Gareth Taylor, said about, when foreign managers come over and they think, the WSL's one thing, but then actually they realise, oh crap, okay, it's, it's so much more competitive and it's so much higher than, they expected. So maybe it's just a case of, not to sound like Mark Skinner, but of settling in and adjusting to the league. But we just want more back, don't we, as fans? Like we'll never turn our back on the team, but we just want a point where we're getting something back for the effort. And obviously the players and everyone wants that as well. But yeah, we kind of need to start seeing it, don't we? Because of course we're then getting League Cup matches coming up, and it's going to get more congested, and we're probably going to get injuries all over the place as well, because that's who we are. So yeah, we just need to kind of enjoy this moment now when everyone's fit, pretty much. We're going to get Jill Billings coming back soon. She's back on the grass, isn't she? I can't wait to see what she does, to be fair, when she finally comes back and get some minutes. So yeah, it's an interesting time, isn't it, to be a Villa fan.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, the longer it goes on, the more they're gonna get frustrated and try and rush things. Like, it's just gonna spiral. It could just spiral, and the performances get worse and worse. So this weekend is critical. Well, and the Palace game will be.
I don't see a happy team at the minute. Like, I watched the replays of the Liverpool goals earlier, and they just look so unhappy when they concede. Like, they look
human, yeah,
beaten. And
like it's like hands on hips, isn't it?
I'm genuinely concerned for the well-being of the players at the minute. They're not happy.
No, but then you watch, but it's this disconnect, isn't it, between the training pictures where everyone looks so happy and so together and such like an incredible atmosphere, to then suddenly, well, what happens to those players and that team when they get on the pitch? Because it's like you said, it's a completely different atmosphere, isn't it? Different ballgame. And yeah, something's not right. So it'd be interesting to kind of put our finger on it. But we did have confirmation today. Of course, Leanne Hall has left officially. One of the best coaches in the league.
Shucks.
Most qualified.
LinkedIn says, yeah. Which great word. And but as Sophie rightly said, LinkedIn, you meant to sell yourself. And hey, you go for it.
I just I thought Gary said something not that long ago, and I forgot what I was going to say in response to it, but I've just remembered. So
go for it. Yeah,
I'm just going to say it's completely unrelated to Leanne Hall.
That's okay. We can move on. It's all right.
You mentioned about rushing towards the end of games, and because the pressure's on, because you're like running out of time. Like, you could see that in, if it's the first 20 minutes and you have a shot from distance and nothing comes of it, it doesn't matter because you've still got time to fix it. Whereas, like, it happened in the game on Sunday. It was like 90 plus 1 minutes or something. And we didn't have the ball. Liverpool had a free kick. Liverpool had a corner. And it's like, if we just kept giving them the ball back and giving them the opportunity back, when it should have been us controlling the game, trying to make something of it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a shot and it goes wide, you're just handing possession back to them, like snatching at it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to make sure you're making every moment count. In those 9 minutes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because again, if you're trying things out early on, doesn't work, you might think, oh, actually, next time I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and do that. And it's just about, again, it's about getting it right. They're just not doing that at the minute. So got another chance this weekend. And hopefully it's just something. We just want something, don't we? Because looking at the table, we are sitting 10th. We're sitting 10th. With 2 points, same as West Ham and Everton. But luckily for us, West Ham and Everton have got a massively worse goal difference than us.
Luckily for us, Chelsea had a really good game.
If Chelsea could just keep doing that to other people, that'd be perfect. Chelsea, by the way, have got 20 goals for 20, and 3 against.
They had 5 different goal scorers as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Oh, they were just shooting for fun against Everton at the weekend. I felt so sorry for Courtney Brosnan. It's quite annoying. They're quite good, aren't they? It's they could just share some of their squad. That'd be perfect. Because of course it goes. So we're on 10th, West Ham 11th, Everton 12th. I feel so sorry for Everton as well. I just want to give Brian Sorensen a big hug. Then it goes Crystal Palace. So we're just below Crystal Palace. They're on 4 points. Leicester are on 5. Spurs are on 7. Liverpool and Arsenal are both on 9 points, in 5th and 6th. United on 11. Brighton, I still don't know how they've done it, 13 points. Chelsea 15, City 16. So we've clearly got top 4, middle lot, bottom.
That's the thing. I mean, it would only take 1 win and 1 draw and the opposing results to go the other way for the other teams, and then we would be, we'd be back in the middle. It's just the fact that you can't see where it's going to come from at the moment.
No. And that's the frustrating thing, because before, didn't we? We were like, oh, we can give a good shout against Leicester, like West Ham, like all of these teams. But now it's like,
it's a bit like I said it on the weekend, even if we finished 8th in the league, but we could go on a cup run, I feel like that would balance it off a bit. That would be a fun season. But I can't even see us, like, our league in the League Cup last year, we got that win against Sheffield, and that was sort of a morale building, first win, we can actually start doing this. But this year, like, we've got to play Spurs in a couple of weeks, so even the League Cup isn't an easy game.
No, you're right. So it was, what was it? Sheffield.
We played Sheffield,
Sunderland, and the others.
And Charlton as our other team.
Charlton. See, even Charlton's not easy because we struggled in pre-season against them, didn't we? Tracy in the chat. Good evening to Tracy. Hand pink waving. Hello. It doesn't like emojis, this chat. I don't know why. But yes, hand pink waving to you and good evening. Thank you. So it's going to be an interesting one this weekend. We have made our predictions, but you know what? The one thing we haven't done, Emma, are you ready for your moments? I'm sorry, I forgot the music again. And I was ready to sing Blind Date for you again. It's Hannah, I'm a letdown. I'm sorry. I'll work very hard for next week. But it's Commentary Corner with Emma. So, Emma, got any good ones for us?
Oh, I've got some juicy ones.
Juicy ones, lovely. Right.
So,
well, take a step back.
The Arsenal match, because I mean it would have been illegal to not put these ones in. So I'm going to announce 2 new Arsenal players. We've got Jonas Caldente, very good, very good player, and Doc van Domselaar came from the Seven Dwarfs. Now the 8th one.
Doc van Domselaar.
They did not say
Honestly,
that, surely.
They did. That's what I heard.
I wouldn't have said it. Doc van Domselaar.
I feel like they just tried to like shorten it, but failed.
Like Daff.
We go.
Fine. Doc.
Obviously, they have a dyslexic.
Or they're just waiting for the other dwarves to show up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do that way. Okay. Jonas Caldente. Is that kind of how he's like going to come back into the squad? It was kind of pushed ceremoniously out, but now he's coming back in as Spain's super striker. I love it. Are we going to mention the Elatoon one? Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Do you know what? Why would you say that? Elatoon has a face of smacked bum.
Yeah. That's been investigated now, though.
it's just so not appropriate on any level.
No, because regardless of what we all know has been going on in Ella Toon's personal life, of course, there's ways to say, oh, she looks frustrated at being substituted. Oh, she looks a bit pensive. Oh, she's on the bench. Oh, it's a lovely shot of Ella Toon. Like, you don't say that.
It's like, yeah. It's like he's watching the game with his mates down the pub rather than
it's like an episode of Gogglebox.
Commentating on it.
No, it is. You're absolutely right. So
I would quite like Gogglebox commentators, though. I think that would be quite fun for a match.
Should we do it?
I think they'd get more right.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. I think I think we should totally do that at one point when there's a game that we're not all going to. Doesn't have to be Villa. It can be for anything, and we'll do a live stream commentary. Emma, I thought we'd get another chip delivery there with you looking over your shoulder.
No, I haven't got any
chips
tonight. I had frozen chow mein.
Apparently,
everyone's Chinese night, and no one's told us. Like, I could have totally gotten on this. Like, what?
I just went for the quickest delivery because I knew I had to get onto the pod,
And we appreciate your dedication, Gary. Thank you very much.
3.5 hour drive to get across to this hotel. I left Bedford and I'm now sitting in Wrexham. I shoved the Chinese down my neck and came straight on.
No, that is dedication. It absolutely is. Okay. So Emma, there was two from that match. Yes, thank you very much.
And then I've got another 4, maybe. I can't count. 5.
Wow. Okay.
5.
Hey, keep them going.
Match. So we've got furthest forward here. So Rachel Daly is playing deeper. Well, if Gabby is forward, of course she's playing deeper. Then another blatantly obvious one. Another stoppage. Things are stop-start at the moment. What?
Oh, that's brilliant.
And then an oblivious commentator, when which player it was that went down, it was a Liverpool player. She's walking, so that suggests she's okay to continue. She was not. She ended up on crutches with a cut foot. With the amount of ACLs and players that walk off with ACLs, how can you say that? Genuinely baffles me. Oh, my favourite one's coming up now. You're not ready. Leon can't get the ball to sit down.
I beg your pardon?
Leon can't get the ball to sit down.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. She clearly wasn't giving it enough treats.
Sit. On the penalty spot.
Stay.
I did notice in our game, I think there was one, I meant to message you, Emma, and I forgot. It was talking about Missy Kearns wanting to get minutes to try and break into the England team again. And then he seemed to suggest that was the reason. Obviously, he said Jordan Nobbs, which is, she wanted to go to the World Cup. But he also seems to suggest that was why Rachel Daly came. And I was like, I'm not sure that's true. She was already in the England team. What are you talking about, man? She'd literally just won the Euros.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah.
But there were some juicy ones this week.
Now, like, sometimes if you're not like 100% sure of a fact, that's a bit obscure. You might be able to get away with it. But yeah, when she literally won the Euros, she was doing all right without us, to be honest. She was fine. Over in
she cracked the England team at that point. Yeah,
I'm sure she got a few caps.
4th as well. Stand a 4th, but then she didn't even make the squad for the World Cup, so that doesn't really link.
He was getting himself in a pickle.
There was probably a lull in the game when it wasn't that interesting. It was like, right, what facts do I know? What facts? For England at some point. Let's
when there's a lull in the game and we're not playing one of the big 4, because then they don't have anything to talk about.
It's just silence.
If they're playing like Chelsea or Arsenal or something, they could just, give us.
And now they can't even throw in like some random fact about Jonas Eideval because it's not even coach.
It's just nothing to talk about when it's other teams.
It's like some of them. Michael McCann does it quite a lot, and I do like Michael McCann. But him and another commentator will always do like relevant facts about like their Instagrams or like about other things that they've done, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll take this. It's new information that I'm learning. But then some of them are like, yep, and they had a birthday the other week, and that was shared on Instagram. And you're like, not important.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
But yeah, it's bizarre. I'd love to experience it just so like we can say, oh, we're laughing at them, it's funny, but actually what's involved in it? Because obviously the good ones that do all the notes and the prep and things. But yeah, it's an interesting one to be a commentator. Emma, have you got any more?
Was there one more? I think there might be one. Ooh. I should have left the Leon one till last.
Sure, that was good. Oh.
There was this one. I can't remember when this was. Leon had obviously got the ball to sit down at this point because they were having a committee meeting. So the commentator's words were, "There is a committee meeting of Aston Villa players." Not quite what we're going for here, but I see where you're going. But it's not a committee meeting. They're not sat talking about the parking outside of a school and how they need it to stop.
I mean, I think they could do with a committee meeting, though, to be fair.
They could. As long as someone brings like tea and biscuits, someone brings cake, great. In fact, just pause the match for a good 20 minutes and just be like, right, hang on, bring the kettle on. We need sustenance.
Let's talk about the formation, guys.
Yeah. We should have done this during the week, but we didn't, so let's do it now.
But is the cake gonna be a fuzzy or a Jigglypuff?
And see the people who have no idea what we're talking about. They are different types of caterpillar cake on sale that we all found out today. And there is a fuzzy. Who even sells the fuzzy one?
Tesco, I think.
Tesco do a pink fuzzy caterpillar cake that we won't name for legal reasons. That looks like a very deranged Jigglypuff. That might scare me.
It's definitely seen things.
It's definitely seen things. That poor cake. In fact, we need to buy them all just to get them off the shelves. So I think that's a good segue. Yeah, that can be our celebration on Sunday when we get all 7 points. We can get a couple of those cakes.
Stop by Tesco's on the way down the road and just clear the shelf.
Yeah. Like, oh, what's going on here? Like, we won, we got the food.
Just going back to commentary quick.
Yes, actual football. Yeah.
It is frustrating when I don't know if it's like we said it before. I don't know if it's because they're watching it from a stream rather than being in the stadium. But
live stream, right?
Yeah,
like by a river, just like.
But like there was a really rubbish call in the match on Sunday where we put the ball across. Rachel Laws comes out and punches it for a clearance, so we regain possession. One of the Liverpool defenders goes down. Can't remember who it was, and the ref blew, but for a free kick.
Yes,
we thought, oh, she's blown for a head injury because the Liverpool player went down holding her head.
Yeah,
which I think on replay, Rachel Laws did not get anywhere near to. But there we go. But going back to the commentary point, he picked up on the fact that she'd stopped the game. Rachel Laws has come out and collided with the defender there, but then he doesn't follow up and say, "Oh, that's a free kick. Why is that a free kick?" Doesn't question. Yeah, so if you're someone that's... I realise that probably people that are watching Liverpool Villa on YouTube on a Sunday afternoon are pretty heavily involved with women's football anyway. But if you happen to just be watching it, or any game on the off chance, as a third party sort of casual viewer, it just, when that's not being picked up on, stuff like that.
Third party casual viewer.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just the things like that. If you were watching it from the outside, you'd just think, oh well, that's what happened. But it's not what happened. That's not what happened in that game. But it doesn't get called out.
No, and while you were talking, I was listening, I promise. They don't even on the live text. There's nothing. It's literally delay in match, Aston Villa women.
It's just completely the wrong decision. It should have been our drop ball.
Yeah, should have been because we weren't
anywhere. The stadium was shouting that as well.
Yeah, literally. Because I was watching at home, and yeah, even I shouted like, "Hang on a minute, where is that coming from?"
It was a very big stadium at that point.
Tracy is very politically correct with this comment. The ref was off her rocker. It was an interesting game because we've had that ref before and she's all right usually, but yeah, there were a few interesting calls, but that's the thing, there's no one to really back it up or check because like the liner wasn't saying it, like no one was again communicating, so yeah, that definitely should have been ours.
I think I said it in earlier on in the season about like the disparity between the games that are being shown on YouTube with the single camera angle and then the ones that get the whole TV production and the analysis and the every little thing gets picked up on. Yeah. And those are the games that the rest of the week you see the clips being replayed and spoken about on social media and stuff. Because there's that, they've got those talking points from those games.
Yeah.
And it's just...
That's like the Brighton one, though, wasn't it? We were like, that was never a red, blah, 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 one camera. Then suddenly, oh, yeah, it was a red. Okay. But you can't have that discussion, can you? If you don't have the footage, if you don't have the camera angles. I was going to say, Nick, we're nearly done. You don't have to keep running away.
And it must be like 10 times more frustrating for if you're watching championship games or try, because you can't live, you can't even watch them half the time.
What's frustrating about the championship as well is that there's only one game a week live streamed. Sunderland live streamed their own game at the weekend as well. But again, you only know that if you're looking for it, if you're already subscribed to their channel. Of course, no commentary, no time, no score, no nothing. But it's a stream. It's some football. it's something. But with the new Sky Sports and BBC package, of course, obviously they've got the option for the championship to come in. I doubt they will. I doubt they will show it, but at least there should be more consistency in the production then. And then we won't have such a disparity. But I mean, that's wishful thinking, of course. But yeah, it's where we should be. It's what we deserve, isn't it? Now, I think, so we've done our predictions, talked about the weekend. There is one last thing that's kind of Villa related. Have we all seen the rumour that Douglas Luiz wants to come back to Villa for a short-term loan for his wavering form and fitness or something? Let's come back short-term. So which then leads me to the question, if he came back long-term, would we welcome Alicia back?
I don't know that there's a place. There's maybe a place for her in the wider squad, but I don't know how much playing time she'd get.
That was a very political answer.
I think that's a fair answer.
And yeah, it just made us think, like, when a lot of players now, especially in the men's game, they're demanding and, I want this, I want that player there. And we saw kind of the deal, how it went down in the summer. So yeah, I just wanted to, if it was a longer term thing.
Thank you. The move actually worked out quite well for Alicia. She seems to be loving life out there.
Yeah, she's doing all right, isn't she?
She's playing Champions League. She's having a great time.
Burgled and
they did, yeah.
You're having a great time getting burgled and.
But apart from that, but yeah, no, I just thought I'd ask a question. But yeah, is there anything else anyone would like to mention before we go? Anything we haven't talked about?
I'm just gonna throw it back to the set piece takers thing. I think I said to you, Nick. I said to you on the weekend, like, I don't understand why we don't get Leon taking more set pieces. Because if Jessie Fleming isn't taking it for Canada, sort of 70% of the rest of the time, Leon takes them. I just don't know why we don't see her take them for Villa.
She's hardly on the pitch.
Well, yeah. But even on the weekend, she didn't.
That's the
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we need them on, don't we? We need, again, give her the chance to do it and to show like, hey, I can set piece take. Tracy's coughing in the chat. I don't know what if we missed something.
I'm gonna get about Lehman, I think.
Yeah, that was.
I think it was.
Sorry.
I'd have her back.
You'd have her back.
Yeah. I know she's like Bambi on ice, but at least she shoots.
And she popped up with a goal, didn't she? Now and again.
Occasionally pop up with a goal, and at least she tries.
Is that what we want our team to be? We try.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we're missing, as Nick said. At least she was willing to take a shot. And at the minute, we're trying to walk the ball into the net, but what's wrong with taking a pop from 20 yards?
To be fair. Okay, I'll take everything back. Yeah. If Robert would extend his hand, then maybe we could find a place for it. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting. See that dynamic.
I've just thought of something else. Sorry, we're gonna have a fun time editing again. I was talking earlier about Robert DePaul not taking as much responsibility in his post-match interviews and stuff, and coming across as pretty abrupt and defensive. And I think also it's because it's in such a stark contrast with how Carla was. She was always really open about and sort of held her hands up and said, you know, I'm not going to get everything right, but this is what we're going to do, sort of thing. And I think they're completely opposite on that front, and that's maybe why it's, you know, taking a bit for fans to come around to his way of seeing things, or not, as most of us are.
Yeah, because she was very much, wasn't she? She was like, "That's on me. I got it wrong."
Every time. She never blamed the players.
No, never.
They played for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we saw when everything was kicking off about, you know, should she be sacked, and everyone was like, coming out.
When we lost to Chelsea, that 6-0 game, and I think they interviewed Rachel afterwards, and I remember I can't remember how the question was phrased, but she was like, "No, we're, you know, that's not even a question that you need to ask. Like, we're still backing Carla all the way."
Yeah, like we're here. She's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep trying. Yeah, good. Yeah. Because even in their post matches, like Miri did a post match, didn't she, the other day? And again, it just felt like there's a lack of belief in them as well that they can do it. Because what was it? She said, as much as we tried, we just couldn't get the goal. So yeah, maybe there's a disconnect with.
And it's not. I mean, obviously, Carla chose to leave for her own reasons, which were completely understandable. So it's not. I'm not saying that we should bring her back, because I don't think that's definitely not going to happen anytime soon. I'm not saying that that's a solution for the question earlier about how long do we give Robert DePaul. I'm just sort of posing that as a flip side to how we're viewing him at the moment.
Yeah, because it's such a stark contrast, like you said. So it's us getting used to him as well, isn't it, and how he plays and stuff. That makes more sense, Tracy. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to do my best. Was that a good thing, though, not having negatives about the players?
I think it's
yes and no.
I think she probably did in the changing room.
Yeah, I think there's
I think she had a way of management that was like she was a cheerleader for her squad. She just like, you're better than this. You can do better than this. Like, she could constructively criticize the players in the privacy of the changing room, but took the managerial responsibility. And because at the end of the day, it's on the manager. In any company business, it's on the manager. If your staff are crap, it's on the manager. And Emma didn't mince her words. But yeah, I think she had. I know a lot of people didn't want Carla, but the players were happy under Carla, and that can't be disputed. They played for her. They came off the pitch and cuddled her. Like, they wanted to win for her, and I don't sense that with Robert.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing outwardly being positive about things, like, and not.
It's a time of the place,
not
isn't it?
throwing your players under the bus, but in you know, if the match has just finished, your players are probably already feeling pretty rubbish about it. I know they're not watching the post-match press conference immediately, but it's, I don't know. There's things to be saying outwardly that everyone can hear, and then some things that maybe should be internal conversations.
Yes, exactly. Because the last thing you kind of want as a player, as an employee, is for your manager to go and shout from the rooftops, right, you were crap, you didn't track back, you didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. You want that to be a private conversation of, right, was that your best game? Let's have a constructive talk about it. And how we can go in the future. So yeah, I definitely think there's a time and a place for criticism of individual players. But yeah, if he took a bit more responsibility and just, I don't know, maybe more sincere, maybe as well.
He has to swallow his pride.
Yeah.
He's too proud and doesn't want to admit that he's making mistakes.
Yeah. No, it's hard and it'll take a while. But we have a match on Sunday. And hopefully this time next week, we'll have some positive things that we can talk about. And we can
definitely 3 points. It'll well, we're taking them down.
Come on,
coming back with 5.
We'll come back with 10. I don't know why people keep saying 3 points. 10. We'll come back with 10, right?
So that's the yellow cards.
No, it's all the rugby tackles we're going to get off Rachel Williams when she comes on.
As long as she doesn't score a header in extra time, I'll be okay.
Yeah, no.
But that stage could be in Parker's back pocket.
That is true.
Yeah. Rachel Williams can score a header into her
own net. Yeah,
her own goal. Yeah, that's
fine by me.
Yeah, we're good. We'll manifest it. Good man. Right then, shall we wrap it up there? Unless Emily, you've got any other things?
I just thought of one more thing. I'm really sorry.
There you go. Right. Okay.
You said about Jill Byings coming back, being on the grass. I think Miri on some form of social media, there was a picture of Anna Leet being in like a group training picture, which was really good to see.
So when I did the press conference with Robert Tupper, he said that, I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before. He said that Anna Leet
press conference with Robert.
I know. More than one. He said that Anna Leet has got to be in full-time contact training for 2 weeks, and then she can be considered to be back.
I think the concussion head injury that she had was pretty bad by the sounds of it.
Yeah, but again, no one really said anything, did they? They were just like, oh, she's just not here. And I was like, can we have a little bit? Because last season, their injury updates were brilliant.
I love those little graphics that they did, because even the ones that were back was, this person is now available.
Yeah.
Tracy's coming.
Yes, she's with a trainer this week, and the stadium ball will sit and stay exactly where she wants it to be. Tracy, we had a good laugh about that earlier. So yes, hopefully Dree starts. She's on a wing by herself. That'd be quite nice. And players are actually playing in their positions. That's all we can ever ask for, isn't it? But yeah, good. Yeah, that was great. Thank you very much. About 10 minutes shorter than last week. Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Hey, we're getting better each and every week. So thank you very much to everyone who's watching, listening. Don't forget you can like, subscribe, share, follow, love, whatever you need to do to make sure you don't miss out on all of our latest updates. Now, we are on Instagram at Part the Pride Pod, or we are on Twitter at Part Pride Pod as well. And of course, we're on YouTube, which is where we are streaming live from now. So again, don't forget that subscribe button because it helps us to find new Villa fans and to promote our brand as well. And of course, you can like the Aston Villa Women Fan Club, which we are all a part of, and hopefully we keep seeing new faces on. Nick, it wasn't too bad, was it?
I think I was quite positive.
Can I do bad?
In comparison to what I'm like in the chat, that was fairly positive.
You've been brilliant. Go on, Gary.
All I want to add is good luck to everybody that's actually absent the whole day this weekend, including the lovely Nick that's joined us this evening.
Yes, absolutely. Nick, you looking forward to it?
Yes, but I am the kind of person that has really random injuries. So if anyone's wire isn't attached, it will be mine. If anyone is going to plummet to their death, it will be me.
Immortalised forever on the...
I am that person. So this will be the last time we see me.
Well, we're so glad you made your final appearance.
These may be my last words.
No, we love it. That's not a way to get out of doing this pod again, by the way.
Well, if I die, it is. I'd say it's a very good excuse.
We'll get a Ouija board. We'll get some crystal, and we'll talk to us with that. It's fine. That works, right? We can do it. But no, it's been a pleasure. We really, really, really enjoyed it. And thank you to Emily, Emma, and Gary as well. And I'm gonna do a little outro video now. So again, thank you very much. So Nick, Gary, and Ian. Not this Gary. Other guy. I was thinking that. I was like, Gary, I'm sure you're not doing it. I'm sure you're.
No, it's not me. I'll still be in Wrexham. I'm working here the weekend.
I was going to say, I'm sure you're working this weekend. I'm sure you're not doing it. So yes, other Gary or Olaf, as people know him as, and Ian as well. We can't wait to see all the videos, and hopefully Nick does not plummet to her death. But yes, it's been lovely. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see you next week at 8:00. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.